Okay, hello. Welcome to this update on the fire situation going on, and there is so many fires going on. I don't know what the hell is happening in Nassau County. Um, so as you know, this is from Long Island Fire Wire, right? And the crews are getting rotated in. They even had people from Western Suffolk now. They're fighting this fire. It's still this fire along the main line tracks in Westbury is still burning. They have limited service on one of two tracks, the track that's furthest away from the fire, but there is still flames and smoke from this fire going on. So we still have this fire going on, and then we had another fire this morning in Garden City, and we're gonna go to this right now. News 12 actually wound up covering this as well, and Garden City, a community in disbelief after three members killed in a house fire. And they spent 2 minutes and 51 seconds on it. So, very good job for News 12. They actually did a very good job today. Garden City community in disbelief after three members killed in house fire. A fast moving house fire in Garden City that claimed the lives of three family members Thursday has left the community in disbelief. The call came for the fire came in just before 6 a.m. for a home at 148 Washington Avenue. Fire officials say 12 departments and 75 firefighters responded to the scene. Nassau Assistant Chief Fire Marshal Michael Utaro said there were reports of people trapped. It was a chaotic scene. They were doing what they do best, trying to make a push, including the police officers on the scene, trying to see if they could save a life. News 12 is told one of the police officers tried to kick down a front door but was driven back by the intense heat and flames. The deadly fire hit close to home for many in the tight-knit community, including the Garden City Police Commissioner, Kenneth Jackson, who knows the family killed in the blaze. The fire marshal did bring a chaplain to the scene, and he did help us and the family and firefighters, but we're getting through it, and the community is suffering. Utah said some departments who came to work on the Garden City fire came over from the Westbury fire that started Wednesday night. Garden City Schools Superintendent Kusum Sinha released a statement saying, "We are heartbroken to learn that the devastating house fire claimed the lives of three beloved individuals, including a Garden City high school student. This tragedy affects our entire community as we mourn this immeasurable loss, and our hearts go out to everyone who knew them." Sinha says the school will have grief counselors and psychologists available to students and families in need of support during this difficult time. And a neighbor said the woman who lived in the house was an active PTA member and her daughter is a senior. So this is a real tragedy. And we have, I saw as I was heading out to Hicksville, I saw all these police cars and fire trucks down Washington Avenue, and I knew something bad had happened. And This is a terrible fire right now. Let's. Patch also has a story on this. This is what the house looks like now after the fire. It's horrible, man. It's just horrible, and especially when it involves the. Here's another picture right here. So when it involves people's lives, it's really very very devastating. And that sadly wasn't the only fire I had to talk about. Nope, it's not. Multiple homes on fire in East Meadow. And this was also reported on News 12 as well. They did a pretty good job covering this. A fire destroys home in East Meadow. Spent 2 minutes on it. Breaking now. This is what's going on right now. They spent 2 minutes on it. A massive fire in East Meadow. A fire destroyed an East Meadow home on 7th Street on Thursday. 75 firefighters responded to the call around 8:30 p.m. Three people were injured. One was taken to the hospital with minor burns, and the other two refused treatment at the scene. So fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, but there is property destroyed. East Meadow Fire Chief Paul Cosiba said there were three large propane tanks on the side of the house. Cosiba said it could have been a lot worse, so there was explosions. Candace Turner, 73, who lives a few houses away, saw the flames and ran to the house to alert people inside. A neighboring home was also damaged. The fire marshal is investigating the cause of this fire as well. And Here's another picture of it. This is from the patch here. Multiple homes on fire in East Meadow Thursday night. The blaze broke out shortly before 8:30 p.m. on 7th Street, east of Prospect Avenue. there are reports that a propane tank exploded. So, and I think there's a little video right here of that explosion. Oh, man.
Start the back up.
Holy crap, what is blowing up?
So this is a really bad situation here. And thank God it looks like everybody is going to be okay. Property destroyed, but fortunately, no lives lost. We're still not done yet. There was another fire in Westbury, this time at 517 Rockland Street, and this was a bad house fire. 4-line stretch, 3 operating, primary and secondary is negative. Command putting fire under control, extensive overhaul. They even sent companies from Suffolk County, Dix Hills, and Green Lawn. I mean, we have literally. I mean, it's the 80s again. It reminds me of the 80s. It's like, yeah, it's just like the middle of the island is just. What is going on? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's behind this. I have no idea, but it's very disturbing, and it all does seem to be happening in the middle of the island. And this is all extremely disturbing. And of course, we have the situation with the railroad. Okay, now we go to News 12 and go to that. Let's see. Cancellations. Westbury as cleanup.
Commuters this morning say they had quite a rough ride.
So
they say
I
they
am
were left in the
featured
dark about what was going
on. You will see this.
News 12's Danielle Campbell continues our team coverage with that story.
It was a mad dash and then a scramble.
Right now, nothing.
That was the greeting Long Island Railroad commuters were given when they arrived at the Hicksville train station this morning.
No train service on the main line. There's a fire in Westbury.
Service was suspended both ways on the Ronkonkoma, Huntington, and Port Jefferson branch because of that massive fire in Westbury. Some commuters we spoke with said there was a lack of communication by the railroad. All morning long, we watched cars drop off commuters who had no idea service had been suspended.
There's
in
another
both
one getting ripped
directions.
off right there.
A crazy morning. Didn't really expect this to happen.
I took the bus here. I don't have a car.
That's me.
And they're saying no service east to Ronkonkoma.
The app shows that the trains have left, and that's the only reason why I came to the train station.
This is a nightmare.
Phil Eng, president of the Long Island Railroad, said several steps were taken to alert commuters about the service disruption, and that alerts went out all morning long.
That I do ask the riders to do is to make sure they're using the Long Island Railroad train time.
All right, Phil, why weren't you running the shuttle to Babylon and service east to Ronkonkoma and Port Jefferson? Why? I'd like an answer from you, Phil. I really would.
We know there are other apps out there. The Long Island Railroad train time is the most accurate, provides the most up-to-date. I know we had the message on it immediately.
Thanks. Phil Eng tells us the reason for the suspension of service was because firefighters had to access the tracks to fight the fire.
It obviously was pouring a tremendous amount of water onto the debris below, and a lot of the debris and the building bricks fell onto the tracks.
I need to have reliable transportation, and this happens time and time again.
Danielle Campbell, News 12, Long Island.
There you go, and that's it is. I need to have reliable transportation, and this is a big problem for me and a lot of other people who depend on the main line. Phil A, you needed to do better. All right, you should have at least had a shuttle to Babylon and had train service running to Ronkonkoma and Port Jefferson. All right, you had equipment out there. You could have done it. All right, there was equipment out there. You could have run limited service. You didn't do anything. You left people stranded. But he's ineffective as far as I'm concerned, and you know how I feel about Phil Eng. But thanks to News 12, a great story. They spent almost 2 minutes on it, and they interviewed me, and I really appreciate it. I mean, they did a good job. News 12 really did a good job today. I'm going to say that they did a very good job. Long Island Railroad, not so much. Now I guess we're going to get into this whole thing with the Long Island Railroad now. Because the way they handled this was just absolutely deplorable. I understand that you have a fire. You can't run train service through Westbury. We totally understand that. But you should have had a plan in place to run the shuttle train between Babylon and Hicksville. You should have had and then run limited service. You could literally almost use the schedule that you use when you do the mainline shutdowns, you know, you could do that, but they didn't do anything. They did this on purpose to screw us. Obviously I think Pat Foy's, did this on purpose so people would get stranded. This is all done to ruin our area. It's all done to make people know, hey, this is not a desirable place to live. You're gonna have these incidents. You're gonna be left stranded when you can be living on the South Shore and have dependable transportation and a much better quality of life. And that's why everybody's fighting with each other to live on the South Shore. You can see a lot of trains were canceled here, and a lot of people complain. All right, a lot of people complaining. All right. And we still have their issue. They still have issues. It's just a huge mess, and a lot of people are stranded. However, I did hear that a lot of the towns on the South Shore were letting people park there without permits today. Very good. I'm glad you did the right thing. But that doesn't really help people who don't have cars like me. And like I said, this is a big problem. And they just say, we are making extra stops to pick them up via the Oyster Bay branch. Okay, so the Oyster Bay branch is accommodating. Will the other branches be enforcing parking only? That will be up. So far, we've heard that they will not be enforcing them, so it's very good. Somebody's thanking one of my colleagues there for getting them home. So again, the service was suspended. They eventually did. They said cross honoring on the 22 and 24. But why weren't you running that shuttle, man? Come on, you could have ran it. All right. And the problem is the 22 and the 24 is split. This is the big problem now. So it makes it even harder for people. We don't have service at Bethpage. What do I, you're stranded. You're going to have to get ripped off by a taxi, Uber, or Lyft, because that's what Pat Foy wants. That's some extra passenger trains here that were departing. They weren't really showing up on the app. The app was, the website pretty much was useless and just said service shut down. Tickets being cross-honored. Parking restrictions at Massapequa have been waived for today. So far we know that the parking restrictions at Massapequa have been waived. I don't know about the town of Hempstead, but I'm assuming they did. Then they said as of 15 hours ago, they're restoring some service. All right, so very limited service, and there's just been a lot of cancellations. 944 canceled, service has been restored. Customers can expect 10 to 15 service restored. And so they were delays. So a lot of delays going on. So service was restored by the late morning, but there were extreme delays going on, and a lot of trains being canceled. Delays have subsided, and then they put something up in the later afternoon. Let's see, 1 or 2 tracks still fighting the fire, obviously. Let's go here. 226 from Penn due to Hicksville, canceled, obviously. The next eastbound Hicksville will depart from Penn Station at 246 and make all local stops to Hicksville. Said limited service due to delays. There will be additional service to Babylon from Penn Station. So again, look at what they did. They added a whole bunch of flyers for a certain demographic. Unbelievable. 222 Express to Rockville. So why flyers? 232 Express to Lynbrook, then all stops to Babylon. 3 with a 3 o'clock train. And then more flyers. 331 Express to Rockville Center. 552 Express to Seaford. And 628. And they should, first of all the trains should be going all the way to Babylon. Oh, they all do go to Babylon. Okay. But, what's with all the flyers, man? That's just preferential treatment right there. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean, guys. By this railroad. And it's all part of the plan. And people know it. And that's why we're seeing the fires, I think, is that you're seeing people, Port Jefferson Center continues to, we had this going on, too. I had no idea about this. Port Jefferson service was suspended between Port Jefferson and Smithtown. Unauthorized person struck by a train. Unbelievable. I didn't even know about that. Oh, my God. 314 from Penn. Due to Ronkonkoma canceled. Customers should take the what? The 355 from Penn to Ronkonkoma. The last spot cut off. The 307 from Penn to Ronkonkoma. So usually they cancel the 307 and not the 314, but they did it reversed and they restored it. 303 canceled. Firefighters continue. But here you go. Here's the statement that they made that I put up. Absolutely ridiculous. The snobs get 6 extra trains. All right, 222 express to Rockville Center, 232 express to Lynbrook, 3 o'clock express to Jamaica, 331 express to Rockville Center, 452 express to Seaford, then all stops to Babylon, and then there's 627. So they get 6 extra trains. All right, but Hempstead Branch does get an express to Jamaica and then local. Why doesn't the Hempstead Branch get any flyers? Huh? Why is that? And these are all the trains they canceled. The 314 Ronkonkoma train from Penn, the 424 Ronkonkoma train from Penn, the 522 Ronkonkoma train from Penn, the 553 Ronkonkoma train from Penn, and the 653 train from Penn to Ronkonkoma as well. I just said Ronkonkoma to Penn. I'm sorry if I said that. But these are all basically all Ronkonkoma trains here. So they canceled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Canceled five Ronkonkoma trains, and then on the Huntington Port Jefferson branch, you had the 343 train from Penn due to Huntington canceled, the 419 from Penn Station due to Port Jefferson canceled, 517 from Penn due to Huntington canceled, take a Babylon train, then change at Jamaica, 546 from Penn due to Huntington canceled, 630 canceled, and the 635 canceled, 2 back-to-back trains. Unbelievable. So, what a mess. I'm sure there was overcrowding. And then somebody else put it. After Babylon, is there any train back to Hicksville? We will have train service to Hicksville during the evening rush hour. So somebody said, what a mess. It's just, nobody wants to deal with this. That's what I mean. And it's just doing irreparable damage to our area. Nobody wants to live here. I think maybe that's where we're seeing the fires. Maybe insurance, and it's only going to get much, much, much worse. I worry, this is a situation that is out of control. I'm not saying, I'm just guessing here, all right. But the fact is, now you pissed me off. You canceled all Huntington Sports, so I went out of my way. So, what a mess it is. What a mess, and I am just exhausted for covering this and going through this. It's very upsetting. And it may be necessary, so we may see service disruptions during the AM peak. I don't expect normal service tomorrow. Bottom line is, you need reliable service on them, or you got to live on the South Shore, and that's why I said in my story, I got to have reliable service, and I cannot deal with this kind of continuing problem anymore. It's too much stress on me, and I'm gonna have to fight. I really wish this would stop. I wish the middle of the island would count for something. I wish we wouldn't have service shut down and be left stranded. But this keeps happening, and as long as this keeps happening, I have to say, it's time to fight to live on the South Shore. I don't know if I've reached that point yet, but I'm getting very close to it. Once again, a lot of it's just going to depend on, the railroad. Things have to change. And as long as things don't change and as long as people don't speak up about this, the middle of the island is just going to eventually, literally, we are that car that is teetering off the edge of a cliff. We're almost over the cliff, guys. And we're just hanging out. There's still a chance the car won't go over. But it's more and more likely that the car is going to go down the cliff and burst into flames, like in the movie. But that, the middle of the island is in some serious, serious trouble, and these fires are just everything. So I'm very tired, but I figured I'd do this one last update for you tonight on this whole thing. And again, thanks to News 12. They actually did a very good job today covering this whole thing. So I do appreciate it. Take care and have a good night.